Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've travelled, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. Been to Tullamore, Seymour, Lismore, Mooloolaba, Nambour, Roochdore, Kilmore, Marillaba, Birdsville, Emmaville, Wallaville, Connemara, Connemara, Strathround, Proserpine, Alladala, Darwin, Gingin, Lilliquin, Muckdilla, Wallumbilla, Bougainville, Cumberland, Ramakiller. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare,
Yes, it is time for Regional Roundup, and we are going to Kinglake today. Hello, Karen Ostenried.
Hello, everybody.
How you going? It is Neil here. The other voice you'll hear that's deep is Wobbit. And we've got Sienna with us as well. It's a veritable party.
It is a party. What's the weather like in Kinglake this morning, Karen? Is it partly cloudy or mostly sunny?
Partly cloudy. Initially it was all sunny and gorgeous, and then it clouded over, but that's now gone away again, and we have beautiful blue skies.
It has been an on-running debate today, the difference between when the weather forecaster goes it's going to be partly cloudy versus it's going to be mostly sunny, because in our mind they are both the same thing.
Yes. Is there a difference?
Yeah, well,
there is.
I had a photograph taken from the TV the other night where every second night it was going to be partly cloudy, and then every second night it was going to be mostly sunny. So we were blowed if we could see the difference.
Got to be one or the other.
I suppose it depends on which side of the clouds you're in.
I suppose it is, yes, because on the other side of the clouds, of course, it's totally sunny, but that's another story. Karen, thanks for joining us on Regional Roundup. We do this every week. We just talk to someone who lives in a regional place, and yours is regional, certainly, but not very far out of Melbourne, very similar to what we are. Only, 70, 80 k's out of town?
Yeah, 75.
Well, there you go. See, 70, 80. I was bang in the middle.
Bang in the middle. So, Karen, the population of Kinglake, would they be generally people who are locals, as in a country town in its own right, or are you getting more of a case of people buying, living there, either commuting to Melbourne or this new phenomenon of working from home?
It's probably the latter. So a lot of new people have moved up since 2019, and even were doing that prior to COVID. So yes, we are definitely the locals, or the long timers, been here over 20 years, are definitely the minority these days.
And you and I spoke the other day on a different forum, and we talked about what has been a pretty tough 25 years for Kinglake, certainly highlighted, if that's the right word, in 2009 with the Black Saturday fires, and certainly another round since. The town obviously completely wiped out at that stage. How's the recovery process been? How do you start again?
It's difficult. I've been recently watching that the Malakuta kind of doco kind of based story, and what's happening to them on that TV thing was exactly what happened here. So, the choices are to stay or go, to stay after the event has to be made. I would say 70% of our residents are no longer here following that. The mental, the psychological implications of losing people or losing the things that you love, such as your property or animals or something like that, weighs heavily on that. And then, the whole kind of restructuring of the building process afterwards, and all of the new things that you have to deal with following that certainly has an impact on and shapes the individual differently for everyone.
I have some friends in Darwin who were there prior to 1974 when Cyclone Tracy came through. And there's almost an unofficial club, if you will, that says we were pre-Tracy. Is there an element of that with folk who were in Kinglake prior to the devastation, sort of almost becoming a community within a community? Or is that not something that happens?
We have identity as far as before or after. But I'm in a group called Fire Foxes, which is a women's-based. We were set up following the fires, and we made it a priority to welcome all people, no matter kind of whether they'd been in trauma or not. And that has worked really well because that set up a really good flow of education and transfer of knowledge, if you like. In the other groups, the new people have come along, such as your Rotaries and your Lions clubs. That has taken on new members, and of course in your emergency services like the SES and the CFAs, they've also taken on. So I think it's not really a distinction between us and them. It seems very obvious here that people have the stalwarts have embraced the new people to educate them, and it's worked really well.
So you may have already answered my next question, because that sense of community that I grew up in a small country town and know the importance of it, it was clearly important pre-2009. You've talked about a lot of people moving out, but it seems like you have created a whole new community on the back of the new people coming in and embracing the old, and vice versa.
Yeah, well, we're working on that. I don't think it's been totally embraced yet, but there's certainly the efforts are made to do that.
So the people, there's an interesting element, and I've seen it both ways, where somebody who lives in the city wants the fresh air change, so they buy in the country, but they really don't ever embrace the community they're in. But others are either dragged into it or openly come into it and find a whole new world of the wonderful experience of living in a small rural community and genuinely embracing that.
Yeah, I agree on both. There are people there that that just want to kind of do their own thing. However, the reality of living rurally hits them whenever we have a power blackout or a massive storm which takes down trees and blocks the roads, and they don't have a chainsaw. So that quickly,
yeah.
Or for us, we have domestic blocks very close to us, and we live on a farm, and I have to do rabbit control. So when I I do it as a courtesy, I don't have to do it, is put out the letter drop saying we will be baiting on our property, blah, blah, blah. And I get people going, oh, but what happens if my dog, And I said, well, A, your dog shouldn't be on my property to start with, and did you know that there is a law that says? So I think one of the things that is probably needed when people do that tree change is for them to realise that you don't get all of the services and you have to deal with things yourself here, whereas they don't have those issues in the city.
Yeah, it's not just a change of scenery, it's a change of lifestyle.
Yeah, but in following that up, we've got a Facebook Kinglake community page, and I see lots and lots of posts from people coming into the area and wanting to connect, wanting that information, and they are welcomed with open arms, and there's, heaps of, that's not a problem. They come in and go, oh, I've got a water tank, what happened, and this happened, blah, blah, blah. So there's heaps of people going, contact so-and-so. So that is free-flowing if they kind of make that reach out saying, hey, I'm new, can you help me out? And, the people are more than happy to help them out.
Yeah, well, I've just got visions of those folk coming up from Melbourne with their $150 chainsaws that have to plug into the power and trying to get through some of the trees that have no doubt fallen down. That's my vision for this morning. Yeah,
it is. It's quite amusing when I read it. It's like, oh my God, my power's gone off. Oh, am I going to die? No, it's a common occurrence, and just keep your fridge closed, and apparently it should be restored in 4 hours, and it's like, oh my God, I have to go back down to Melbourne. No, you kind of find yourself some candles or go to your neighbours and blah, 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 and, probably next time, get a little gas thing to boil some water, or, it's just that shock of, you don't you can't just put on a switch and everything works beautifully.
Particularly when you can see Melbourne in the distance. You know, if you go to Robinvale, which is where Sienna's from, you know, you're making a statement. But to some folk, Kinglake would be an outer suburb in the way that they would see it. So I guess that's part of the deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely within sight, depending on which side of the ridge you're on.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely easy things. But you know, it's just kind of, it's a different world, and it's not a bad world. It has plenty of benefits as well, with that space, that clean air. You know, the different sense of community is really good.
Well, Karen, we are going to take this opportunity to say thank you for joining us on Regional Roundup. Great to know that Kinglake is up and about. Folk, it's only, you know, an hour tops from the centre of Melbourne. Go up and buy yourself a coffee up there and see what a beautiful part of the world it is. Thanks for joining us. We'll chat again soon.
Thank you, and we have a market up here tomorrow, so
there you go.
Meet some of the locals and all of the other people. So.
Get up there tomorrow, folks. Kinglake, just east-ish, north of the city.
Oh, yeah, due north-east-ish, you're correct, yeah.
Righto, we'll chat soon. Thanks, Karen.
Mining. Bye-bye.
See ya.